here we are out in the parkway. And in the parkway, between the curb and the sidewalk, we have our water meter. That's a good place for it. Got the blue with the notch. That's so the fire department can come in during an emergency, find it. Or any other first responder for that matter. And coming down here, you see the smaller dial inside of the dial with the little red needle on it. That's a flow indicator. Some people call it a cheater wheel, cheater paddle, call it what you will. If you have a problem with your water bill, they'll come out and they'll look at that and they'll say, "You're not leaking any water. You know, I don't know what your problem is." That's what they'll say. Now over here, I don't know if you can see this really good. That little green knob coming out of there with a little slant on it. That is a main water shutoff valve to the house. It's not the main water shutoff valve for the house. That belongs to the city, if you will. It belongs to the water company, utility company, vendor, call it what you will. That's how they turn the water off to the house. It's not how you're supposed to turn it off to the house, unless you've been drinking a lot of those. Now for the house, we're going to the closest bib faucet, exterior bib faucet, to the meter. And we're looking for not more than 80 psi. Shows right there. I'm getting just below 60. And you're supposed to let it sit for a little while, so we're going to do that. I'm kind of going in the order of the report. The Texas Real Estate Commission prefers that we do that. We're in the garage. The home faces east. So this is the west exterior wall. We're over here by the water heater. We have a whole video about this. If this gets past you, just keep rolling, because this is going to be a repeat. Parallel is on, perpendicular is off. I've got a whole nother video about that. I just turned off all the water to the house. One thing I'm not seeing is I'm not seeing a pressure reduction valve. We only have 60 psi. Backflow prevention, depending on the municipality, might not be required. So this will go on over to the water heater video, which I did not mention because I didn't know what our water pressure was going to be. But we do not have an expansion tank, and in a lot of municipalities they're required regardless. But in other municipalities, if you don't have high water pressure, they're not required. Or if you don't have a check valve and a pressure reduction valve, if you don't have those valves, then it's not required. Coming along here, home faces east, that's south. Okay, this is our portico on the south side of the front portico. Over here in the bushes, these are our main sewer cleanouts. We got two-way cleanouts. Alright, come off real easy. I'll do a demonstration. This one curves that way. This one curves that way, so you never have a dead spot. So if you have a flood, excuse me, a blockage, a clog, an overflow, then the plumber can come out with an auger, a snake, a rotor-rooter, call it what you will. And if it's blockages that way, it goes in here, goes that way, and everything's working fine. Blockage is over here, goes out towards the street, blockage is out that way, goes in that one, everything's flowing fine. It's supposed to do that. It's supposed to do that. I'm going to move over just a little bit. See, we still got 60 psi. Usually like to get a still image of that, so let's just try this way. Okay. This is the gas coming into the house. This is our gas meter. This is the main shutoff valve, and that's allowed to be that way. Main shutoff valve, excuse me. Isolation. Main shutoff valve, isolation valve. You can use a wrench on that, that's perfectly acceptable. We're on the south side of the front guest bedroom, or actually, I don't know if it'd be the guest bedroom, but it'd be the southeast bedroom. Okay, so there we got our water pressure, we got our water meter, we got our gas, main water shutoff valve, main sewer cleanouts. We're not done yet. Let's move over to the lawn sprinkler system. This is called a check valve. Those are the isolation valves. That's the main water shutoff valve. Parallel is on, perpendicular is off. It's been excavated so you can get in there and go around it. You can wrap your hands around it. If you got a problem, lawn sprinkler won't turn off, use this valve. Once these valves start getting rusty and stuff, they'll start breaking off in your hands. Use this valve. This is supposed to be serviced once a year. And so far, I've only been doing this since 1996. Alright? So, 26 years or whatever. To my knowledge, I have not known anybody to have that valve serviced. I'm not telling you to ignore it. This is another clean out valve. Inside the garage, on the north interior wall, we have our controls, our lawn sprinkler controls. Our zones are labeled. We can hand label these. Unlike you shouldn't have hand labeled that. Tells us that we've got 9. Are we doing stations or zones? Stations today. This is the weather receiver, the weather sensor. I thought I'd make it easy. You can't see it from here. I'm going to try, but I'm not going to walk over there. I have it in another video. It's way down there, but it's there.